Hey everyone, Dr. James Stirrett here. Good to see you. Today, we're going to be talking about the differences between semaglutide, Ozempic, and Wegovy. I know you might be thinking, wait a minute, aren't they all the same thing? Aren't they all just semaglutide? And the answer is yes, but don't go away because there's actually some differences that I've been seeing among their similarities within practice. And so I want to jump into telling you what I like to use personally and why. For starters, why am I talking about this? It's because literally every single patient that I have asks this exact question. Well, wait a minute. What's the difference between Ozempic and semaglutide? Are they the same thing? Oh, wait. I can safely say that most people have no idea what's going on. On top of this, if you look through the videos that I do on semaglutide and weight loss, you'll see that people ask specific questions about the medication that they're on. Hey, I'm on Rybelsus. I'm on Ozempic. I'm on Wegovy. I'm on semaglutide with B12. All these different forms of technically the same medication, and they want to know about dosage, like how does this dosage apply to this medication. So I'm here today to try to simplify all this and just share what I personally like to use in practice. Before getting started, please understand that I am a doctor. I am not your doctor. This is not medical advice at all. I'm just sharing my opinion. This is one man's opinion, and I'm hopeful that it will help you make informed decisions, hopefully with your doctor. So let's lay the landscape just for a second. Semaglutide, Ozempic, and Wegovy. They're all technically semaglutide, right? The difference is that semaglutide by itself is typically compounded alone by independent compounding pharmacies, not attached to big pharma. On the other end, you have Wegovy and you have Ozempic. These are technically the same exact medication, just in their corresponding brands. So if you are on any form of this, you are technically on semaglutide. Although these medications might come in separate forms, separate concentrations, technically the dosing strategy is the exact same per milligram. So when I talk about semaglutide, you can safely assume that I'm also talking about Wegovy or Ozempic. In this, they are all actually going to share the same action in that they all technically do the same exact thing. Their goal, their job is to, when they're injected, go in and stimulate, upregulate GLP-1 receptors within the brain and in the gut. This is going to cause satiation, which is just a feeling of satisfaction after eating, after meals. So you don't just continue to eat. A lot of times it'll curb sugar cravings for people, and it does delay gastric emptying a little bit. And so that will slow down gastric motility and make you fuller a little bit faster. Now with this, we do see those insulin receptors being more sensitive. That's the whole point of the medication. So insulin gets released into the system and you need less insulin to do the job. What insulin does is our body releases it in response to blood sugar rising, and it goes out and it basically tells the body, hey, reuptake this glucose. Let's control the blood sugar situation. This is how blood sugar is regulated within the body. As someone develops blood sugar problems and blood sugar goes higher and higher and higher, you need more and more and more insulin to achieve the same effect. So what we're doing is when we give semaglutide is effectively saying, hey, let's just make this receptor more sensitive in the meantime. This person, his body is going to get used to releasing less and less insulin, and we're going to start to see blood sugar sift down as a response. Please understand that this is actually just a Band-Aid. What's being done while you're on this medication does have a benefit to those GLP-1 receptors in helping to reverse metabolic syndrome, reverse insulin resistance. However, if you just rip someone off the medication, a lot of times what's going to happen is if that person never changed their lifestyle, never changed their diet, never changed anything else about the environment or the ecosystem of their body, a lot of times you'll see people gain their weight back, which is the number 2 biggest question I get when it comes to semaglutide and weight loss, right? What's the question? Am I going to gain this all back once once I'm done with this medication? It will come back if you didn't change anything while you were actually on semaglutide. You need to be able to make positive lifestyle changes while you're on the med, using the medication, semaglutide, as a tool to be able to actually make that long-term change. And so that is why I exist as a provider. We help people use semaglutide as a tool, with or without semaglutide, be able to make that lifestyle change and set that ecosystem right in your body so you can sustain weight loss long term. I wanted to share that because going forward, I want us to understand the clear limitations of these 3 meds as a class. Now, there is one that I believe stands alone, and I want to go into that. But first, I want to tell you a little bit about this story that I think showcases exactly what I'm about to talk about. I had this patient, let's call her Sam. So Sam is a middle-aged female. She was struggling with weight gain, some hormonal imbalance, struggling with poor sleep, night sweats, fatigue during the day, just not doing very well in general. But her core focus was, in fact, weight loss. So she came to me about 6 months ago, and she was actually on Ozempic. She was on Ozempic, and I believe at about 0.5 milligrams once per week. Her provider put her on that medication and did not tell her to do anything else. She was injecting the medication. She did not change her diet. I believe he told her to eat less carbs. That's it. He did not tell her to do anything else otherwise, diet-wise, exercise-wise, lifestyle-wise. Didn't tell her to drink more water. Didn't tell her to do anything else. And as a matter of fact, did not even check blood work before or during with her on this medication. She'd actually been on this medication for several months, and she was struggling with one of the side effects of semaglutide or Ozempic, which was constipation. She's only going to the bathroom every 3 days. So if that's normal for you, by the way, if you're only going to the bathroom like once every 3 days, that's a really not a good sign, especially when it comes to weight loss. We need to be detoxifying each and every day, and we do that through going number 2, going to the bathroom. Anyways, so Sam, she comes to me. She's just kind of feeling like a mess. She's only lost a few pounds on semaglutide, and she's really, really frustrated. So she gets started with our team. I actually started her on a generic form of semaglutide, 0.25 milligrams twice per week. So I actually split that dosage in half throughout the week for her. She started working with our nutritionist, started dialing in macros, which foods to eat, which foods not to eat. It really wasn't a huge drastic shift from what she was doing. It was just emphasizing higher protein and having her avoid things like dairy. So other than this, I did put her on a supplement regimen that helped with gut health and helped really move things along so she could go to the bathroom every day, a really good healthy probiotic and a digestive repair formula for her gut, and took a look at her hormone levels as well and started working on some different treatments to help with optimization of her hormones. Talking about a very well-rounded approach, so we're kind of attacking things from multiple angles for her as an individual, and the combination of all of this led to massive weight loss. She lost over 30 pounds with us in about 3.5 months. But not only that, she actually started sleeping through the night, had way more energy, constipation was gone, just felt like herself again, and was very, very excited with her new body image. And she's been able to maintain that since. So that's just a really powerful example of what happens when you switch somebody from Ozempic to semaglutide, but you're also supporting their hormones, lifestyle, nutrition, and everything in between. Now, you might be thinking, that's great, but yeah, you changed all that other stuff. Very, very, very true. However, what we've seen is that in clients that are really not ready to make the jump of the lifestyle commitment, they're not ready to take the supplements, they're not ready to work on the gut health, they're not ready to change their diet, they're not ready to go all in on what's going to actually help them maintain weight loss in the future. We've seen in these individuals, both myself and colleagues, that when they're on Wegovy and Ozempic and they switch to semaglutide, especially in our multi-week dosing strategy that we like to implement, that we start to see really, really good results in these individuals independent of lifestyle change. So you might ask yourself, wait a minute, Dr. Stirrett, aren't all of these 3 medications technically the same exact thing? Well, the answer to that is yes. Technically, they're all semaglutide. I don't know why I'm seeing such a big difference clinically, but what it's looking like is this. So it's looking like for every 0.25 milligrams of semaglutide, I'm seeing a lot of patients actually need more of that medication in the long term with Ozempic and Wegovy. Like they're almost like their bodies are adjusting to Ozempic and Wegovy at a faster rate than they do to just generically compounded semaglutide. I'm not going to speak to the industry. I know those are brand name medications, and they technically should be the exact same as semaglutide. I'm just saying that I'm not seeing that translate clinically. The other benefit to compounded semaglutide is the customization of the dosage. A lot of times you're locked into specific dosages with Ozempic and Wegovy. Yes, there are auto-injector pens that make it easier if you're a little bit squeamish, but you're really locked in, especially at like the lowest dosage of Ozempic, 0.25 milligrams. You can inject in intervals of 0.25. You can inject, you have to jump up then again to 0.5. Like you couldn't go in between if you wanted to, which I think is a little bit of a downside. Also consider that when you're tapering off the medication, 0.25 is the lowest that you can go with those meds. Meaning that if you wanted to cut that dosage in half and go 0.125 milligrams or even less than that, that you don't really have that option with the branded name products. So for that reason alone, I really do prefer compounded semaglutide. And let's jump into the last consideration. A lot of companies, a lot of compounding pharmacies out there, they're actually putting B12 in the compounded semaglutide. And I think this is a bit of an advantage. Most people need a little extra B12 anyways. When I run functional labs, and I do this with each and every patient that I see, B12 is almost always low. I'm almost always going to put someone on some form of B12 or injectable B12 anyways. And considering this, they're putting that in the semaglutide. I think that's very helpful. I'm a sucker for some B12, and I do love it when it's injected. So if it's included in the compounded option, not a bad call. So remember, this is only one doctor's opinion, one man's opinion. I'm sure there might be other professionals out there with other opinions. So please take this with a grain of salt. This is what I see, and this is what I appreciate using with my patients, the philosophy that I take. So I hope this helps you. I hope it helps influence an educated conversation to have with your own physician. Hopefully you guys found this helpful. If you're as excited about semaglutide as I am, if this is going to be something that you're considering doing as part of your weight loss journey, I encourage you to follow along here on the channel. We're going to talk a lot about weight loss. We're going to talk a lot about hormones. We're going to talk about semaglutide. So we'll be here for you. Now, there's also a semaglutide course you'll see down in the first link that we just launched. Super excited about it. It's going to go through all the ins and outs of semaglutide, including where to get it, what type of a dosage to take, how to taper on, how to taper off, what to eat, what not to eat. There's recipe guides, recipe books, grocery store walkthroughs. There's literally so much content inside the course. If that's something that excites you, then I encourage you to go ahead and check it out. Otherwise, just please like, follow, set that notification bell, and I will see you next week. Take care, guys.